circling back to when you became an agent, what was the hiring process like? I know it's very, very, as you would say, a proctology exam.
Yeah,
But
it was long and miserable is what it was like. So you start by taking an intelligence test. Well, let me go through it now because there's some differences. Now you start, I guess you still start by filling out a basic application. Then you go in and take an intelligence test. Half the people pass that, half the people fail that. And then those people get to have like a meet and greet session with an agent. The agent's really kind of at that point taking a look at your resume and to see, are you a person who is regarded as a highly competitive candidate? So the criminal justice majors are not highly competitive. They're a dime a dozen. The FBI doesn't see that as a competitive major.
right. But the accountants.
But the accountants, the computer scientists, the mechanical engineers, the people who speak Farsi or Chinese, any of the Chinese dialects or Russian, that's a highly competitive candidate. And so if the agent sort of approves your resume as being highly competitive, then you get to go to the next stage. And that's a panel interview where 3 people are interviewing you for about an hour about the stories from your life. Tell me about a time in your life where you had to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so if you pass that, about half the people pass and half the people fail. You also take a written essay exam to make sure you can read and write proper English. And so it's just an essay you're writing basically.
Yep.
And so there's a certain amount of people who pass that and a sizable amount of people who fail that. Along the way, periodically, you're taking a physical fitness exam where you were evaluating your ability to do push-ups, sit-ups, a 1.5 mile run, and a 300-meter sprint.
Okay.
And you got to hit your times there. Or
You
else,
do a dummy drag too, or no?
no, we don't do
No.
that. Yeah, we should, but we don't. It's push-ups, nonstop push-ups, sit-ups in a minute, a 1.5 mile run, and a 300-meter sprint, but they're back to back to back.
Yeah.
And a shocking amount of people don't pass that,
Yeah.
which makes no sense to me because it's not a pop quiz. You know exactly what you're going to be tested on, but people show up and fail that more often than not.
Right.
And that's changed over time. I think my generation of agents was passing, applicants were passing at a way higher rate than the current generation.
Well, yeah. Look at,
What do you think? Because I don't have a good explanation for that.
I think people are not as fit as they were. I think people don't play outside, especially the younger kids. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I was like the last generation that played outside. When I was younger, I'm 31. When I was younger, it was right when technology was really coming out, but I didn't have video games as a kid. We moved around a lot, but for a long time we lived in Alaska, in very rural, a rural part of Alaska. And we would just go out and just play, you know?
I will allow for that this is a lesser, this generation's not as physically fit as 25 years ago. What I don't understand is what's happening psychologically to this generation that's making people show up to a physical fitness test that they're not going to pass.
Yeah. Is it the instant dopamine from other things where doing something hard, people mentally give up sooner? Like, if I want to feel good, I can watch a YouTube video, a TikTok, go watch porn, eat some food, DoorDash, right to the house. There's a million different things that I can do right now, video games, like anything to get that instant dopamine rush. So pushing through to do something hard, even as simple as just focusing on reading a book, like people read less books, people do less mentally challenging things, I think.
Yeah.
I read a lot less than I used to,
Maybe there's something to that, but it's a phenomenon that I don't understand because there's no way I would have embarrassed myself to showing up to a physical fitness test without one, having done it myself first to know I can pass.
Right.
And if I couldn't pass, I would have said, listen, I'm not where I need to be. I need another month to train.
Time. Yeah.
But people show up to the FBI physical fitness test all the time and just fail miserably. They had no idea they were actually being called upon to do what was being asked. And I don't understand the psychology behind that. I don't understand why somebody would not have. I would have run this thing in the allotted time on bloody stumps.
Yeah.
I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird thing to me that applicants are washing out left and right at the highest rate that we've ever seen in the FBI's history today versus some other day. And I don't understand. And I get what you're saying, and I think people are probably in poorer shape than they were in the past for all the reasons you cited. What I don't understand is the psychological hurdle people are able to get to where they think magically that they're going to be able to pass this thing if they've never passed it before.